Today on X, Kurt Warner compared Brock Purdy to himself. Said really sees a lot of himself in Brock Purdy. And when Kurt Warner was at his best, he had, Marshall Faulk, that's Christian McCaffrey, Isaac Bruce, Niners don't have that guy, and Torrey Holt, who I always thought that was my comparison for Brandon Ayuk. A lot like Torrey Holt. Well, you got to replace these. If you want those kind of results from Brock Purdy, you got to have those kind of weapons. Let's talk about Brock. He's having a real interception issue. He's thrown multiple picks in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's thrown 9 picks in his last 5 starts. It's becoming an issue. What do you see, not just from the result of the pass, but from the process, the way the ball leaves his hands, the way he's driving it or not, his footwork? What are you seeing on film?
Well, I mean, okay, a couple things. First of all, don't get gaslit by these people who are like trying to be like, well, it's 3 bad throws. No. It's 3 intercepted bad throws. There were probably 6 interceptable balls. He could have thrown 5 or 6 picks in that game. Let's not confuse this. It's not like, he was awesome, except for these 3 throws, and we're nitpicking after a win and all this. They won the game, so you know what? It's not like life stops or something. But the reality of the situation, and I was sitting there next to Todd Husak, who played briefly in the NFL and played at Stanford and knows a little bit about something about quarterbacks since he was one and quarterback mechanics. And he was pointing out to me a couple times, look at the replay and look at his right leg. He's not throwing off of a planted right leg. Mm-hmm. He's throwing with all arm and all shoulder. It's not with a strong base. So stuff around, have you noticed he looks pretty good when he's zipping it around 5 to 7 to 12 yards around the line of scrimmage? He looks pretty good. He looks pretty much like Brock. Where he doesn't look like Brock is when he's the first couple steps, when he tries to escape, he doesn't have the same explosiveness. So he starts to run and then stops running. We've seen that 2 or 3 times because he realizes, hey, I don't have the same speed. I can't run the same way. So then he stops running and looks to pass. And then the arm strength isn't there because he can't bury that toe into the ground. The arm strength is not there. All of the balls that we're talking about that didn't look good were 18 to 25 yards in that range. They're longer throws down the field, and those balls hung in the air. I mean, it's like, and it wasn't just this game, by the way. The last pass in the Arizona game to McCaffrey, where he's jumping up, it's like we're still waiting for that ball to land. But Brock has thrown some bring rain kind of medicine ball type. I mean, just big, slow, looping stuff in the middle of the field. And I mean, you're breaking all 3 of the rules of NFL quarterbacking. You can't be late. You can't be late over the middle, and you can't be late over the middle with nothing at all on the football. And that's what, and in Shanahan and Purdy, I mean, they're defending this. It's like, hey, he made the right decisions. We're not talking about his ability to process. I think we all would grant him that he has tremendous ability to process. What we're talking about is pure arm strength and the delivering of the football. And he's like, hey, I didn't put enough on that pass. Well, it's like, I mean, yeah.
Then why throw it? Throw it?
But I mean, stop floating balls late. First of all, if Orlovsky made a decent point today, and I do agree with him, even though I don't think Orlovsky's the greatest, but whatever. He made a point that Brock is seeing it late, that he's a little late. It's not just that the arm strength's not there. He's not throwing with the same anticipation. So you're a little late with your anticipation, and then you're throwing a ball that's hanging in the air that has nothing on it at all, and then you're in the middle of the field. I mean, guys are going to break on those passes, and that ain't the last 3-pick day, and you got people defending. These quarterbacks also threw 3 picks. Shut up. I mean, seriously, shut up. It's not about the 3 picks. It's about the fact that this guy on 20-yard passes down the field, the ball is hanging in the air, and it's not about the 3 picks that he threw. It's about the 2 or 3 that he could have thrown in addition to those 3, and it's about the 5 that he's going to throw in Cleveland on Sunday. I mean, that's to me.
And you talk about him processing too, and like I've seen him process well. I've seen him go deep into progressions quickly. But the fact of the matter is, since he entered the league in 2022, of all the quarterbacks who've thrown at least 700 passes, he has the highest interception percentage at 2.83. got that from Josh Dubow. Like, that can't happen, man. If you can read defenses and read zones and anticipate where to go, then stop throwing so many picks because all the rules are in your favor. You can't touch these wide receivers. The league average in picks is like 2.4, and Mac Jones came in, same team, same system. His interception percentage is 2.1. The whole reason to go from Mac back to Brock is that people said there were going to be more big plays. That Mac is good, but he's sort of playing like Jimmy and dinking and dunking and leaving things, leaving meat on the bone. There's stuff down the field that he wasn't hitting. All right, well, here comes Brock Purdy, and it seems like because of the toe or whatever, he's not. I mean, I'm looking right now on some Summer Sports, Sumer Brain. I asked him, what's Brock Purdy's rating on passes that traveled 20 yards downfield this season? According to Sumer Brain, his passer rating on passes that go 20 yards downfield is 28.8, 17 attempts, 9 completions, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. I mean, if that's what he's going to do, if he's 75% healthy, if he can't quite make a guy miss in the backfield, then what? Then should he be playing?
I mean, this is the elephant in the room. It's like, have you noticed that every person associated with the 49ers is like, when it comes up, should Kyle consider playing Mac? Or, oh God, no. And then let's talk about the two quarterbacks. You would swear that Purdy's like Joe Montana and Mac Jones is like DeBerg. And it's like, no. There's not that huge divide between these two guys. There just is not. And stop gaslighting us. I understand why you're doing it. You have invested over $100 million in Purdy. And you can't, if you've invested that much in Purdy, you can't entertain dialogue that says that Jones could be better or Jones could be as good or Jones could be even in the same stratosphere. Because then immediately Jed's first question is, why did you two donkeys give this other guy $100 million if these guys are readily available and we can have this other guy for nothing? So they understand the dynamics here. So that's why everybody's pushing back so hard. The intellectual dishonesty on this topic is off the freaking charts. The only people that are truly honest about this are people that have nothing invested. You, me, a few other people have nothing invested. The Niners are invested. Don't ask them. It's like, hey man, I got 2 cars. I got a Bentley and I got a Honda Accord. And I'm sitting here talking up the Honda Accord constantly. Well, the first question is, why'd you spend $200,000 on that Bentley if the Honda Accord's so freaking great? So that's obvious. So they're trying to squelch the entire conversation because we can't possibly have that conversation because all roads lead back to we effed up. So we can't have that conversation. So there's
all right. Hold on. So they're trying to protect their decision to give him this contract, and I completely agree with that. Yeah, but at the same time, at a certain point, winning football games has to be the number one priority. So let's say, they're fighting for a playoff spot. There's no guarantee they make a playoff. They make the playoffs, and Brock Purdy just had this horrendous performance. Probably should have been pulled, but they didn't pull him and they won. So okay, no harm, no foul. You escaped. If he does that again, throws a couple picks and they lose in Cleveland and they end up missing the playoffs by 1 game, that's a fireable offense. You missed the playoffs because you played your injured quarterback instead of the guy who was doing well. You asked for it. And so good luck if they play Brock Purdy this weekend. They better beat the freaking Browns.
Well, then it also kind of comes across like Kyle's playing Purdy. Is Kyle playing Purdy or is Purdy playing Purdy? Yeah. Because I get the sense that Purdy was like, you know what? Mac Jones is looking really good, and I'm standing here watching my job get taken from me. I'm getting back on the field by hook or by crook, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to battle. Now, part of me respects it. Part of me respects I want to fight for my job. I want to fight for what I have. I get it. But what people don't understand, or maybe they
as opposed to like Jimmy, who just gave it to Brock in 2022. Go ahead.
Right. But the one thing I think people don't get is that Brock's it's not static. He's not staying the same. By playing, the turf toe is going to probably get worse. So the lack of arm strength, the lack of mobility, whatever inaccuracy he may have, it's not likely to be better next week or better the week after that. It's likely to be worse. So that's the question is, do these rainbow balls and these, the inaccuracy and the inability to run or escape, does that become worse over time? Because if it does, I think right now we're looking at Brock Purdy at about, my guess, who knows, but I would guess 75%, 80% of Brock Purdy right now. And so 80% of Brock Purdy with how competitive he is, it's comparable to Mac. But man, I'm telling you, if Brock he keeps continuing to turn the ball over, or if he and in any way regresses further south from this, Jones will be the better option, and Shanahan will lose face in the room if he doesn't play the better option, I think.
I think he's the better option. I mean, when Jones was playing, Shanahan was able to call games in a different way. He was able to call 40, 45, 50 dropbacks and win because Mac Jones wasn't throwing an outrageous number of interceptions. He wasn't throwing an outrageous number of turnover-worthy passes. And with Brock, I mean, there was a hope that he could take the offense to new heights and unlock certain potential, but now he's thrown so many picks that Kyle has to like work around Brock and run the ball a lot and manufacture all these short throws the way he used to do for Jimmy Garoppolo. I just again, if it wasn't for the contract they had to justify, they wouldn't do it. And I think it's obvious to everyone why they're doing it, and it better not cost them a freaking game because people are going to be upset.
What's entered into the equation now, though, is now their jobs are tied to Purdy.
Yep.
And that's what's different between this time and last time with Garoppolo. Last time their jobs weren't tied to Garoppolo. Now their jobs are tied to Purdy. Kyle has said on more than one occasion, Brock Purdy's the last quarterback we're going to have here.
He did.
He
did say that. That's a good point.
I almost got the feeling
like Jed said
that wasn't his line, that was a line that was said to him.
Thank you
and
for
he's just sharing us.
Because it's like
sharing that
their job should have been tied to Trey Lance, but then it wasn't, and they got to like wiggle out of that because Brock Purdy appeared. It's like, can't you do that again with Mac Jones? It's like, look, Jed, I know you spent $250 million on this guy. Sorry. But look, we got Mac Jones. He's great. Pretend you spent that money on Mac Jones.
Anybody who wants to debate that fact, by the way, Ryan Pace, is he running the Bears right now? The guy who drafted Mitchell Trubisky?
Oh, no.
No, he's not running the Bears anymore. Most of the time, if you take a quarterback in the top 5 and you swing and miss, you're gone. Now, I don't think those guys should be gone. You don't think those guys should be gone, I don't think. But at the same time, that's a huge hit. And so Purdy saved their bacon, and now they're all in on Purdy. And I'm sure Jed was like, hey, we'll do this, but this is it. This better be the guy. And now, I don't know. I don't know how heavy-handed the Yorks and Jed are when it comes to football, or if that's something that we're creating, because we have no real intel that gives us, that these guys are, that Jed is, Kyle or John are on the hot seat, or that Jed's pissed off or whatever. But I mean, the Niners sure did rein in the spending this offseason, and I got to think that came from Jed.
Mark says, hey guys, missed the game, watch the highlights. At one point, Joe Buck said the crowd was restless after Brock's third INT. Thoughts? How would he know?
How would Joe Buck know? Yeah.
But I did hear a lot of people saying, like, I was in the crowd, I was in the seats. People were saying, bring in Mac. I think that's kind of normal in a game where the starter's struggling and the backup's good.
I mean, I was at a game in the Niners' last Super Bowl winning year where Steve Young got yanked.
I was talking about that.
I was at that game, 40-8 Eagles. Steve Young got yanked, and they went on and won the Super Bowl. And
he like MF'd Seifert on the sideline. Seifert totally didn't even look at him.
Steve, I mean, Steve's passionate, but Steve went bananas. Went bananas.
Yep. This is my team. Who do you think you are? How can you take it? And
Steve, a lot of people think he
didn't even look at him.
A lot of people feel like he gained respect and a louder voice in the room because of his attack. His like kind of, this ain't going down like this. I mean, Steve had some serious gumption, man.
Yeah. And that was my point. Like, you don't have to bench Brock Purdy, but you should have pulled him from that game. You won in spite of him. You can pull a goalie in hockey. You can take a pitcher out in baseball. You used to see quarterbacks get pulled and then start the next week, but they didn't. And again, I think it's all because of the contract. I mean, you got to show the team that there's a standard of performance and everyone's accountable, no matter what.
Which leads us to what's next. And does Brock, and I wanted to ask Brock this question today, but I didn't have the nerve. The question I wanted to ask was, hey, man, if you continue to struggle and throw 2 and 3 interceptions per game, would you take yourself out of the game? and just say, hey, I'm not playing at the level that I'm used to playing at? Or do you just put your head down, try your best and let Shanahan pull you out of the game? I mean, I almost wanted to ask that question, but I just felt like it was going to not be well received.
Yeah,
but I would like
I
to
see
know,
why you wouldn't ask it. To me,
because
that's actually a better question for Kyle. And I wanted to ask it after the game, but I lost my nerve too. Because to me, I asked Kyle, like, did you consider going to Mac after the third pick? And he just said no, and ended
Right.
at that. Could have followed up with why, or how many picks would Brock have to throw before you'd consider it? I mean, at a certain point, there's a limit, right?
Yeah, I mean, and then it's like, have you heard the term soft benching? It's like, if Kyle in this game against Cleveland, if the Cleveland's had 20 hits on the quarterback last week, if they had 20 hits on the quarterback this week, and they went to Mac Jones in the third quarter, would we call that a soft benching sort of? Because maybe he'd be like, well, Brock didn't look right to me. His mechanics didn't look right. His ball didn't look right. And it's like, well, what are you taking him out because he's bad? Or are you taking him out because he's hurt? And it's like, they're never going to take him out because he's bad. They're always going to take him out because he's hurt. And then immediately the speculation is going to go to, well, is he being taken out? Is it a soft benching? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of, I could see that whole thing starting to happen if Brock's just I'm gonna keep playing, and he keeps playing poorly, and then what?
That's a good question. Bill Kennedy says Lombardi wants a job with the Niners PR department. See no evil. Nick says team is chasing narrative instead of Super Bowls to help the egos of the Cabo clique and the coach. I do feel like the team is chasing narratives, and it's so beside the point of what they need to do. Just win. Play the best players. Kane Fan 57 says Mike rain in Cleveland. We all know how Brock plays in the rain. Again, against good defenses. Also, lost last time we played them. Yeah. To me, they didn't want to play Brock against the Rams. The same logic applies this week. I mean, this is a really tough defense, a really tough atmosphere. Any quarterback the Niners put out there is likely to struggle in this setting. So why not let it be Mac? Why don't Mac throw 3 picks and get hit?
Well, I mean, they don't want to get into this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, back and forth, which I'll tell you. Now, I don't know what your stance was. My stance on the Purdy thing was, you were winning games with Jones. He had just completed 85%. He's in a very good rhythm. You're playing winnable teams. You have a quarterback that has turf toe. Why not hold out Brock Purdy till the bye week? And then you had 4 games out of the bye after the bye. And then the playoffs. To me, that's probably what he can play. Now you may have to go to Mac Jones in the playoffs.
You know why? Because Mac would have lit up Arizona and Carolina.
And then all of a sudden we would be talking.
He'd be on a winning streak. His numbers would be. I mean, he was peaking when they benched him. He wasn't going to light up Arizona. I mean, probably would have. So I think they felt like he lost. Arizona's coming up. Brock's going to be great. That was your opportunity to slide Brock back in there. The only thing is they didn't expect him to melt down against the Carolina Panthers. Now, J.C. Horn is really good. He made some great plays. But damn, didn't expect that. Brand New says Grant and Larry like Kobe and Shaq. Who's Kobe? Who's Shaq? Stephen Niners says you guys should rock, paper, scissors for who asked Brock why so bad. That's not nice.